Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, people on YouTube. And welcome back to William in Japan. Today you join me on my trusty little CB250R, which will not be our protagonist in this video, but will be, as in the title, the 2019 Street Triple RS. So as of recording this video, Triumph has just released their 2023 version of that bike. It finally gets a IMU and IMU. It gets adjusted ergonomics, a bit more power, but basically still the same engine. And the regular viewers of this channel will know I am looking for a bike to replace not only my CB, but also the Ducati Superstore sitting in my garage right now. So since I need a bike that basically has to do it all, a middle-class sport naked bike should suit my needs. And the Street Triple has been heralded as the cream of the crop, the standard for sporty naked bikes for, at least past 10 years by now. Ever since they ripped the fairings off the Daytona, the Street Triple has been praised for its very easy handling, good mid-range torque, and high revving engine. So at least for me, there's no better timing to try out the Street Triple today. Alright guys, see you when we get there. Right, welcome back guys. There she is, the Street Triple RS 2019 version, of course. We have a Olden shock, which is the same with the 2023 version. Older design headlight. Not a fan. Also not a fan of the new headlights as well. I prefer round lights, as you guys may know. Showa forks. Brembo, I think these are not stylemas by M50s. I'm not sure. Speaking out of my ass, so please take that with a pinch of salt. A TFT dash. Let's switch her on. Pretty quiet. Pretty quiet indeed. Okay. MCS master cylinder. That's very similar of the specs with the new bike as well. Other stuff, well, definitely a very similar engine. Again, the 765cc inline triple. Before we go, check the mirrors. Looks good. Looks good. Okay, let's go guys. So, I digress. The 765cc inline triple, extremely similar to the bike we have today. Also, quick shifter as well, very nice. Oh, I already like, I already like the sound of this engine. Okay. Making 123 PS, 123 horsepower, which is a bit less than the 2023 bike, which is now making 130 PS, so 7 more. I like the seating position. You can see I can put both of my feet flat on the ground. Seat is 825 millimeters, so definitely doable. I have a very nice bend in my knees when I'm at a stop. However, the foot pegs are definitely high, a bit higher than I expect actually, but nothing we can't handle. Bike is pretty light as well. Back in 2019, they only give you the dry weight, which is 166 kilograms. So think about wet weight, maybe around 184, 186, which again is really similar to what we have for the 2023 bike. So yeah, I think at least riding this bike, a rider like me who doesn't push the bike to its limits, so other than electronics, which I won't basically have to interfere with my riding, this bike should give me a very good idea of how the new bike should feel like. Right. Oh, definitely pretty light in cities and stop and go traffic. Well, everybody knows this bike is great for commuting. But nah, I can do this. We're in first gear. On and off throttle is not as grabby. Of course, we're in road mode, so that may change when we head into sport. I like the intake noise already. We're not even revving her over 5,000 RPM yet. So yeah, first impression, I really like this machine. Let's see how she does on the highway in just a bit. Righty folks, as we merge on to the Tokyo Metropolitan Expressway, let me give you a few nitpicks that I've found already on this bike as we are getting here. So first of all, let's enjoy the sound first though. God, that sounds awesome. Yeah, that's exactly what the Z900 RS lacks. The character, the bark. This bike gives you a nice howl from the air intake. Sorry, God, English. Okay, the air intakes, it gives you a really nice howl in the mid-range, and it turns into a very angry bark when you have higher revs. So yeah, thumbs up already there. But I digress. Where was I? Yes, nitpicks. So first of all is the back brake lever. Can't really show you guys right now, it's down there, but it's extremely short. And by short, I don't mean by longitude, by the width. So I have to keep my toes really inside, pointing towards the bike in order to actually get a foothold on the lever, and it's super slippery. Yeah, it's a nitpick. You can definitely get used to it, but at least that's what I found that I didn't like in the very short time I'm on this bike. And the second is the quick shifter, especially the lack of a downshift, the blipper. I don't think it has one. At least if it has it, it's extremely bad, but I think it really doesn't have one. But again, that is because this is the 2019 bike. If you have the 2023 one, that's not even an issue. And other than that, doing highway speeds, unfortunately we're kind of stuck in traffic. Acceleration wise, you already have seen what this bike can do. It's definitely no problem at all. Yes, it only has around 77 Newton meters of torque, which is pretty low since it only has a 765cc engine, as mentioned. You can't really compare these to the 900-ish cc bikes, say the MT-09, my Ducati Super Sport, or the Z900 RS, which all has over 90 Newton meters. But since this engine is so high revving, goes to, how you can see, the red line is around 12,500, which is around 200 and 500 more revs than both the Z900 and my Ducati Super Sport. So the high-end pull, the high-end rush, definitely feels really nice on this bike. It doesn't really run out of puff. And the mid-range torque is adequate. It's not bad. It's not great. But it's definitely usable on the road. And thanks to that airbox, God, this engine sounds good. Alright, we have a hour ride of dull highways. Let me cut it off right here until we get to the twisties. See you in a bit. Right, I want to give you guys a quick update since we are now on a bit more open road. We are now in 6th gear, doing around 100 kilometers per hour, and I am very happy to say there are no vibrations. Everything is nice and smooth, and yeah, the Street Triple handles these kinds of speeds very well. However, going through these kind of bumps that we just got, kind of noticed the ride of this bike is definitely stiffer than, of course, my CB, and even a bit more stiff than my Super Sport. This really says that how much the Super Sport is actually leaning it to for the road instead of going to the track. And contrary, this naked bike is definitely leaning towards the sporty side with stiffer suspension and maybe even a stiffer frame. We can definitely try it out when we're at the twisties. However, since the forks are Showa made, it's definitely not as premium as the oldest forks we have on the Super Sport. But I don't think that is the issue here. Especially the shock, which is the oldest one as well, definitely feels stiffer going through bumps. So, I must say, as a road-going bike, this is actually even more committed than my Super Sport. Alright, that'll be all for now. Welcome back, guys. So, we are on Route 299 inside Chichibu City, which is already in the mountains actually. But unfortunately, we have a lot of traffic today. And Route 299, although it is a great twisty road, too much fun was had in the past, and the government decided to basically put a big, long, thick yellow line in the middle for over 20 kilometers of twisty roads. So unfortunately, it's still even a yellow line here now. So as we leave the city, hopefully we can have a bit more fun. So being in the saddle of the Street Triple RS for the past 2 hours, a few things has become a bit of annoyance. Still not a deal breaker, but indeed is something you will notice when riding this bike for a bit of time. So as I mentioned, this is a more committed ergo riding position, and it has been taking a little toll on my body, if I may. First of all, my neck is actually getting a bit tired, which does not even happen when I ride my Super Sport. And my theory, at least what I think, is because of the stiff suspension, as I mentioned. I had been bouncing around quite a lot, and the shocks and the forks are not actually cushioning me a lot. So they're all that shaking, all that bumpiness is translating directly onto my head, which may be the reason why I'm a bit tired. Foot peg wise, yes, they were a bit taller. They are a bit taller than my Super Sport, but I think I can still manage them. Basically no pain in my waist. I feel a bit of achiness in my ankles, which is frankly speaking a bit weird, but that's the case. But other than that, I am pretty good. However, remember I mentioned the back brake? At first I thought only the lever was a problem, but no, actually the braking power is pretty weak. It barely does anything when you press down on it. So it's definitely not something you can rely on. But thankfully, this great Brembo MCS master cylinder, those great Brembo calipers up front, it definitely gets the braking job done. But you have to rely a lot on the front brakes instead of the rear ones, which frankly speaking are the ones that you use normally when you are riding on a twisty road. But it's always nice to have the rear brake to actually settle down the bike a little. But unfortunately, this one does not do the job that well. I have put the bike in sport mode during my way up here to Chichibu, and frankly speaking, there isn't much of a difference, especially in the throttle response. It's basically the same. Maybe the ABS and traction control, reminder, they are not lean sensitive, they are just conventional ones, maybe backed off a little more than in road mode. But for a rider like me and the riding I'm doing, I definitely can't feel the difference. Okay, as we're going to turn away from this road, hopefully we can get past these trucks very soon and actually test out the Street Triple on a faster pace. See you in a bit. Right guys, finally some open roads. So let's see how the Street Triple RS performs in these kind of bendy, a bit tight mountain passes. So as mentioned, the back brake isn't great, so I will be using a lot of the front brake. But thanks to this triple engine with its nice and flat torque, shouldn't be much of a problem when we're accelerating out of corners. A lot of snow, as you can see. Let's be a bit more cautious. Don't want to break someone else's bike. So yeah, even though I had been complaining a bit about the stiff suspension, but when you're doing these kind of riding, you are more than happy to have a nice supported suspension. But after riding this Street Triple RS, it really lets me appreciate how good my Super Sport, its suspension setup, how good it is. Yes, it is very plush, but when you're doing these kind of riding, it provides at least on par with this bike, or even better. No wonder people love Öhlins. But thinking of it, doesn't the Street Triple RS also has an Öhlins shock? So in the end, it's just suspension setup then. Maybe, I don't know, if I can adjust the damping a little bit more on this bike, make it a little bit softer, I can probably get the same plush feeling on my Super Sport as well. Let's keep it on this side of our road so we don't run into somebody else's car and ruin our day and their day. A little bit of caution, it's always nice in these kind of small roads with ice. Yeah, we're actually having a lot of snow. That's a bit unexpected. We already hit double digits multiple times, but yet still a lot of snow left. But I digress. Let's return to Street Triple. Yeah, these twisty tight turns, it can take it, no problem at all. And I bet it'll be even more in its habitat on a faster flowy road. And thanks to its really lightweight curb weight, basically, and its nice frame, I guess it's its frame, not its suspension, it feels even more stiff when it's on its side of its tires. Oh, that was a bit sketchy. See that patch of gravel? If I hit that, I'm in the guardrails. Good thing we're not going too fast. That's a R1250 RS, I think. The Street Triple really is like the two sides of a coin. It has two faces, if I can put it that way. When you want it to be docile, or let's say you're commuting on a highway cruising, like just what we did, put it in 6th gear, give it a little throttle. It's nice and smooth, no vibration, no jerky throttle, everything's just fine. But when you just give it a bit more throttle, a bit more power, like here, God, just wow, it comes to life. That bark, that pull, like people always say the Triple gets the best of both worlds from twins and 4 cylinders. I kind of get it now, especially on this Triumph. You have adequate torque, so when you're commuting, doing stop and goes, no hassle at all. But when you give it the beans, it just pulls and pulls and pulls. It's incredible. Wow. Like, my Ducati kind of runs out of puff around 8,000 RPM. No such feeling on this engine. No such feeling. Wow. It really just pulls and pulls. No wonder people praise this engine, this platform. Even the last platform from Daytona and the old 675 Street Triple. People loved it. I love it too. It's such an incredible engine. Wow. I never expect to come into a big village like this. But anyways, this is just such a nice bike for do it all. Really, just doing anything you want to do on the road, at least. Of course, off-road, that's a different story. I don't think anybody will take these kind of machines onto gravel, dirt, or even single tracks, dual tracks. This bike is what most people need, I think. Thank you, sir. Enough power, lightweight enough, sporty enough, and fun enough. If you can deal with the looks, which frankly speaking I can't, just get this bike. You won't regret it. The speed triple may be a bit too much for on the road, but the street triple, God, this is exactly what you need. Alright guys, I'm gonna enjoy a bit more on this little hooligan. Oh, sorry, before I end, this little hooligan, as I kind of think of it, the 2023 bike, as mentioned, has more power, plus it has shorter gearing, so even more hooliganism, if that even is a word. So yeah, I'm going to enjoy this little hooligan for a bit more, and then go to my final thoughts. Hee-haw, guys, hee-haw. Okay guys, my final thought. We are definitely in the mountains, nowhere around civilizations, of course, so it's actually a good chance for you guys to hear the exhaust actually. So, as normal, gotta hold in the clutch for a Triumph motorcycle. Yeah, the engine bark is nice. On the bike, off the bike, is definitely a very, very nice sounding engine. Looks though, what do you think, guys? I'm definitely not a fan. I know some are, but I find myself hard to join that group. When they had the two old round lights, I kind of liked it. When they switched it to this fox eye, I kind of already start to dislike it. I still dislike it now, I guess. And then when they switched to the newest one, the little Angry Bird like with the eyebrow run DRLs, yeah, this bike isn't a beauty in my eyes. Well, that's a very objective thing. So people may differ with my opinion, and that's normal. In my opinion, if I can have this chassis, maybe have Orleans forks, but you know, it's just for the bling instead of the performance, and the Trident front end, for me it'll be perfect. It'll be a great bike. It's nice and light. It has enough power. It rides great. Handles great. Yeah, just unfortunately, look by this looks and this ride, it still doesn't tug me enough to say, oh, I want this bike right now. It's somewhat better than the Z900 RS, but in the end, I think I still need to keep on looking. Anyway guys, this has been William. Hopefully you enjoyed this ride on the street triple. Unfortunately got stuck in traffic many times, but at least we got the nice twisty part done and in our pockets. This has been William. Thanks for joining me, and see you next time. Bye bye.